Hello and welcome to Celtic Carving. Happy Beltane or May Day, whichever one you want to call it. It is May 1st. And we're not doing the May Day poll, but we will be tying ribbons. And we can't do a giant bonfire in our backyard. We don't have anywhere safe, but we will light some probably candles or even just little tea candles and dance around those. We also don't have any livestock to walk through them, unless you count kids or dogs as livestock, which I don't think most people do. So we'll just go with the dancing. That might be a better idea. And I'm a giant pyro, and it's also almost 1 year since I started doing wood carving. And when I started doing wood carving, it was all about Celtic knots. So I took Beltane, which is about fire, and my heritage Celtic, which also equals witchcraft, by the way, and I made a Beltane Flame. So I hope you enjoy this very special video that I made to represent not only the Sowers, my heritage, but also my 1 year since I've started wood carving, which technically the 12th will be 1 year, but that is also right before Mother's Day, and I'm going to try and get up Mother's Day wood projects then, so I don't think it's going to be anything too Celtic. But enjoy. Now, let's get to the woodwork.
So I had a lot of kickback with my saw and a lot of issues with it. I thought that maybe my blades were dull from overusage, or maybe it was because I wasn't going with the grain of the wood, because as you can see right here, I'm not exactly going with the grain of the wood. I also don't always go with the grain of the wood. I don't even always draw the picture with the grain of the wood. So I thought maybe it was just that, or maybe I was trying to force it to go too quickly or something. But it just turns out that actually the screw up on the top happened to just came loose from use of overtime, and it made it shake like crazy, that to the point where I had a hard time even holding on to the board or seeing what I was doing because the board was shaking so much. So I've learned a really big lesson, and I'm teaching you guys this lesson. Make sure you keep that, whatever that screw is, tight, because it is horrible if you don't. I smushed my finger twice before I even gave up and had my husband come and look at the squirrel saw. I even was going at a snail pace at one point to try and get the shaking to stop and to stop making the metal bracket moving, and no matter what I did, it just shook because that screw was so loose. So I will be on top of making sure that screw does not come loose ever again, because that was a nightmare and I don't want to go through that again. So this is a lot like the pieces I did when I started doing carving. The only difference between now and then is I know a lot more than when I started. The pieces I did, they all are very pretty, and I really enjoy them all, and everyone I gave them to really liked them. Right, honey? You still like the piece you have?
Yes.
My husband said yes, if you could hear him. He said he loves his dragon piece that I gave him for his birthday / our wedding anniversary wish. he doesn't know this, but you'll find out right now. He's gonna get another dragon piece for his birthday / our wedding anniversary. They literally are in the same month. They're like a week apart. So he'll be getting another dragon piece. This one's not going to be Celtic, and I'll probably film it and post it for you guys whenever I do that. But that's not until June. And I know my mother-in-law really loves her griffin piece that I made her. She keeps it in her kitchen where she sees it every day because she's constantly in the kitchen. But the difference between then and now is my pieces, not only are they like more complicated for the most part, well, for the most part they're more complicated, not all of them. I don't think anything can top my family crest. That was complicated. But I'm also just going into them more deeply, and I'm sanding them. So where a piece would have actually taken me all this time, I also don't know half the things I do now. Like here, I'm sanding it. I didn't do sanding. So this piece actually only took me probably 2 to 3 hours of what it would have normally taken me when I first started about a day to do. So it's actually really nice to sit back and think about, well, a year ago, something this simple would have taken me a whole day versus it taking me probably about 3 hours, 4 hours. Yeah, because I got all the actual carving done when my daughter was at school. That's a 3-hour time window I have. And now here I am, more closer towards the evening, sanding it all down. Where in the beginning, I would still be sitting there carving the actual knots out. So I'm very proud of how much I've learned and how much I have grown in the year time that I've been doing this. Okay, so maybe it still takes me a long time to do my pieces because it is in the evening and I am still engraving the Celtic knots, but I am trying to add more depth to the Celtic knots, or what I think is more depth, without losing the fact that it's a flame with Celtic knots inside of it. So I guess it still takes me a while to do the pieces. I know it still takes me a while. I guess I just thought in my mind it took me less time, maybe because I'm watching it sped up, and it just makes everything seem like it moves in so much quicker time than it actually does. I also have a lot better tools than what I did. I mean, I started with a little mini Dremel that I burnt out in 2 months of having it, and bought a new replacement one and almost burnt that one out but gave up on it. So a lot has changed from when I started to now, that's for sure. So I am a giant hypocrite because when my daughter was painting her My Little Pony, which I posted last before this one, I talked about how I can't wait for her to go to kindergarten so she can learn to use her colors, and she only painted her piece with 3 colors. Well, now here I am painting with 3.5 colors because I take the yellow and make it white, lighter with white, so technically that's how come I call it 3.5 colors. But here I am painting this piece with only 3 colors, more or less, in mine. Since I technically also take out the 4th color that I use in the project. So I feel kind of bad for saying, hey, she needs to learn to paint better, because she only used 3 colors, and yet here I am using 3 colors. Granted, I do kind of know how to make my colors look a little bit better than she did, because it kind of just were all over the place. But hey, she was happy with it. That's what matters, I guess. So I did the red in the inside of the knot. My husband points out that I missed a spot. And then I did the knots in orange, because I figured if I did the yellow next to it, it would kind of just not look as good. So I really actually enjoyed having the orange next to the red. You can let me know what you think, if you like the orange next to the red, or if you think that the yellow should have been next to the red, which technically the yellow, it still ends up next to the red, because it's what I fill in next, which is the more bigger spots of the knots I fill in with the yellow. So you can tell me what you think of my color palettes. I will have there's a picture at the end of what it looks like all finished. I took out me painting the whole piece white, because the outside I painted white, and then I decided I didn't like it, so that's when I used the yellow mixed with the white. So here you can see me actually covering up the white and the blue that I was trying to do, because technically if I have blue in it, but I really didn't like it, so I'm just covering it all with a very light yellow, which you can kind of see a little bit. It's not the easiest color to see in the video, but you can see it a lot better on the video than you can in the pictures. You guys can tell me what you think of the color palettes, if you would have done something different or whatnot. I hope you guys enjoy. Bye bye.